Welcome to Driveway DIY, where we bring the shop to you. Today we're going to show you how to replace wheel bearings. We do have this on our lift. The wheel is lifted up just a little bit. You can do this on the ground as well, just by jacking up your vehicle and supporting it with a jack stand. And remove your tire. Now we're going to remove the brake caliper bolts. Then remove the brake caliper. You may need to use a pry bar on some vehicles. Next, we remove the rotor. This is your wheel bearing right here, this entire hub assembly. This is what you're gonna find on most front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and four-wheel drive vehicles. It's got these three holes. You rotate it so that it lines up with these three bolts. Before we pull this, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the speed sensor, which runs from the backside of the wheel bearing all the way up to this plug over here. Then we're going to remove this bolt here. There's a nut up here on top of the ball joint that gets this. Next is the really hard part. This nut gets torqued to 133 pound-feet on this particular vehicle, so you're going to need a lot of effort to remove this. And you can use a magnet or a couple of screwdrivers to pull the washer off. Now your axle will move. Sometimes you have to use a press to push this back in, but this one is moving pretty free. So now we rotate this to line up with those holes. Take your splash shield, set it aside. Most of the time you can just pull this out. If your bearing has seized up, you may need a puller, but we'll see if we can get this one out just by, oh yeah, it came right out. Okay, so that's it. There's your old bearing. Here's our new bearing. This is pre-greased and it's sealed, so we don't have to do anything there. Now all you have to do is take it and slide it on. Remember your speed wire, which on this particular vehicle faces up, so it goes over here. I'll rotate this to get them lined up. Make sure that your hole is lined up. Don't forget your brake splash shield. Now we're gonna put our washer back on. All right, then the nut. And we're gonna use our impact to install this, and then we'll torque it down once we get the wheel back on. And we're gonna go ahead and use the impact to zip this on. Now we're gonna torque these to 133 pound-feet. Now we need to connect the speed sensor wire, so unthread that nut, put that on, thread that down. We'll tighten it here in a minute. Put that guy in right there. Then we connect the terminal. Now we replace the rotor. Then we take the caliper and slide your caliper back on. Then tighten down your caliper bolts. Lift the tire and put it on and get you a lug nut started. Always seat one, just to get it snugged up. Then go directly across to the next one. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go under the lift and I'm gonna lower this so that we can torque the axle nut. Now we're gonna torque the axle nut. This gets torqued to 177 pound-feet. Then replace your cap. That's all there is to replacing a wheel bearing hub. Find all the parts you need to get the job done at ebaymotors.com.